I want to look at the keystrokes on how to make a histogram on your TI calculator. And I've got some data here. I asked my second period class how old they were in months, and here are the numbers that they gave me. One of them, of course, jumps out right at me. It's the 10 here, and this 10 is an outlier. And I decide that that 10 is an outlier in the impossible sense. I can't have a 10-month-old in my class. And so accordingly, I'm going to ignore this number right here. I would make a note of that, but I don't like that 10 because it's impossible, not because he's particularly young for the class, but he's absurdly young. It can't happen. I suspect that it's been 10 months since this student's birthday, but I can't just correct it. So let's go through how we do it. Turn on your calculator. This will work no matter what TI-83 or 84 or plus or titanium, whichever. And I'm going to press Stat, Enter, and type these numbers into L1. So if they're already in L1, great. If there's something here I need to get rid of, I would clear that list out, press Clear and Enter. It empties it out, and then I will type these numbers in. So there are my numbers. I've already got them. You can pause the video. From here, I'm going to graph it. Before I graph it, I'm going to press Y equals and make sure there's nothing here. You either need to clear these out, or if you really want to keep that equation, you could go highlight the equal sign and turn it off, and now it won't graph that particular line. Being statistics, I want to do a stat plot, so press second stat plot, and it's the first one here. I'm going to make sure 2 and 3 are off. You'll see how to turn them off if you need to in just a second. So I'm going to go on plot 1, hit enter, make sure it's on. If it was off, I just use my arrow keys to toggle it to on and press enter, and that'll move it over. So if I need to turn the other ones off, that's what I'll do. I'm going to use this graph to make a histogram. So use your arrow keys to go to it, hit enter so it highlights it. In this case, my Xlist is L1. I could change it to second L2 or second L3 or whatever list I want. My data was in L1. And the frequency in my case is 1 because each of these numbers occurred one time. Now to graph it, I'm going to press Zoom 9. That's Zoom Stat. So you can go down to the 9 or you can just press the number 9, Zoom Stat, and it will graph it for you like that. If I press Trace, I can see that this first bar, this first bin, goes from 180 to 188.4, and I have one student in that category. I have 4 students who are between 188.4 and 196.8, and so on and so forth. Now, my brain does not like to count by 8.4s like the calculator did here. It's okay, I can do it that way, but this is a little awkward for me. So if I press Window, that X scale is telling me what it's counting by. I want to change that to something different, maybe something close, maybe 8 would be fine. It was nice that it started at an integer. If that started something else, if that started at maybe 174.6, I might change it to 175. Now to graph it, don't press Zoom 9 or you'll go back where you were. Press Graph. There's a graph. When I hit Trace, you can see I'm counting by 8s. And that's a little easier for me to handle. You might choose to make this 5s because we like to count by 5s. But I'm starting to feel like there's too many bars here and I need to group stuff closer together. This little gap is because there were no students between 185 and 190 months old. That's how you make a histogram on a TI-83.